This is the Brilliantly Branded podcast, a safe place to have a voice and talk about branding and all the reasons that bring a brand to be brilliantly branded. I am your host, Maria Lucia Romero, and I am welcoming you to this journey of learning and inspiration to build awareness around the brands. This is the Brilliantly Branded podcast. Get ready for an incredible, moving and inspiring episode to Empowering Women in Business. Our guest, Els Van Laecke, shared her life story, and let me tell you, it touched my heart and was a real gripping that made me a bit emotional and put some tears out of me. Els' journey is all about bouncing back and discovering herself, let it all out for us with raw honesty. You will find yourself related to her on a personal level, and her story will leave you feeling all fired up to embrace your own path. But that's not all. We also dug into the world of coaching and women in business. Els is a real driving force behind some of her events, like the Biz Women Event, where she empowers women and helps us kick those traumas that hold us back. She opens up with sincerity and vulnerability, reminding us of the immense power possessed by empowered women by sharing with us her personal experience with insights into the complexities of mother-daughter relationships and the profound experiences she has shared with her clients. So grab a cup of coffee, and this time I will recommend you to bring a box of tissues and don't miss out on this fantastic experience. It's gonna leave you feeling empowered, inspired and ready to tackle anything. So welcome to the Brilliantly Branded podcast. Our guest today, Els Van Laecke, an international master certified coach, has coached thousands of business people worldwide with high energy, deep knowledge, and unique approach that have made her empower entrepreneurs and double and triple the business. But the most important thing is make them feel comfortable in a very authentic way. So let's say welcome, Els, and please could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Maria, and thank you, Christine, for that I'm allowed to be here today. It's always an honor to inspire many people all over the world. So thank you for that, first of all. What I would tell of myself, I'm in the first place a mompreneur. So that's how I always introduce myself, because I've built, in fact, my soul mission, which is allowing people to trust themselves on a deep level, but also companies to have trust in their company, but also within the team, is that I've built my company around my children. So which means that, I have 4 training rooms here in my house and outside my house. And my children are just going to school in the streets. So everything is constructed around being a mompreneur in the first place, and then that I can do what I want, but also in regards to my family, to my personal family. So that's how I would introduce myself. So I have a lovely girl from 10 years old, Maud, and then I also have a boy, Thibaut, of 8 years old, which are really very close to my heart. And I'm also happily married with my husband, Frederik, which is also a very ambitious entrepreneur. So my children will probably become also entrepreneurs, I guess, because they are being given it from with the spoon, let's say, from us. Not that we come from entrepreneur families, me or my husband, but we've created it all by ourselves.
Yeah, well, one of the things is I think that they are already powerful kids in order to have a mompreneur. That is a priority that you choose to be a mompreneur. I mean, given all your power, but it's still being a mom, that is part of the most important things to build this family and build these roots.
Yeah. I remember that when she was a very small child, we have it also on video. I think she was 3 years old or something. She was saying to me, I'm saying yes to myself, mother. And I was like, I'm saying yes to myself. Okay, great.
Well, these have a lot of meaning behind, no? If you really go into the details, yes to myself is giving permission to yourself to do many things, and coming from your mom, that is this role model that we want to really follow. And I think it's so beautiful, and
it's a very nice appreciation, then you're seeing, oh my God, I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, I'm also doing things totally wrong as a mother, but that part I'm doing well.
Well, it's part of who we are as a human beings, the goods, the bads, the ups and downs, and connecting that with the business that is actually what we are living. It's not everything all the time perfect, and actually bringing a little bit the personal brand that you have been managing in your business, in your mompreneur, actually how you could advise some women that are in the same status that you, being a mom and needs to build a business and a personal brand. What are the advice that you can give to them?
Well, the first thing is, and that's for me really the ground rule of everything and the foundation of everything, is that first of all, we as women, we need to work on our self-worth. We have to value ourselves, and we need to also be able to learn that without having to get the appreciation always from the outside world. There are still too many people depending on other people telling them that they are okay. See here, I'm okay, you're okay. That's really our ground rule, that you are able to tell it yourself. I'm okay. And that we do not need someone telling us that all the time, and that people need to see us, hear us, feel us to get a recognition from outside. And I know how it is, because I was like that too. When I was younger, I was really an appreciation hunter. I really went to hunt for appreciation. I was an overachiever. I always went beyond the expectations to get appreciation. And the moment that you do not get appreciation anymore because you have a certain boss or a certain environment that does not appreciate you, well, it's like, it's really like a tree without very deep rooted roots. You get cut down and you're out.
Yeah.
So that's why I always advise in the first step to really, really that to trust yourself, to be able to trust yourself fully to steer your business, we need to be able to value ourselves.
Yeah, and this value ourselves and don't looking for approval outside. How do you balance that? Because it's when you are working and you are putting all your efforts and doing many things, sometimes you need these drops of improvement, like it makes you feel probably motivated. So how do you recommend
So let's say, I mean, for sure, first to clarify, it's not that you cannot have any appreciation from the external world anymore. That's not what I'm saying. For sure, when we are doing new things, it's nice to have someone saying you're doing it correctly, or you're doing it good. I'm training for triathlons. I've done already 2. I'm very proud of that. But I remember when I was learning how to do crawl, for example, and the teacher was saying, you are proving you're doing well. I was faster going to the other side of the swimming pool, of course, when he was confirming. So when you're doing new things, it's nice that you have a mentor, that you have someone around you that can tell you, you're on the right way, right track. But what I do also notice is that lots of people they not only listen to a mentor that knows something about it, they listen to many people who do not know anything of their business. So, for example, a lot of my marketing is online. I do a lot of online marketing. So I do not need to go and ask advice to the bakery guy here in the street about online marketing, which is not doing anything on online marketing.
Correct.
On that part.
Yeah, correct.
You have to, that's like Brené Brown says, you need to have people who have been in the arena themselves.
Experience.
And take input from them, but not from everybody, You do not need to get approval of everybody. So how to balance that is, first, you read what we do in our programs, in our Play Big programs, is that we help people. That's really the first part, to create the self-worth within. And also in that self-worth creation, we also ask them, for example, to ask 10 people to give them five elements which they like about them.
Okay.
So then they get like directly appreciation from many people. So they cannot tell themselves anymore. It's not true, because they got also from the outside, they got at least 5 to 10 people telling them 5 qualities of themselves.
Yeah, that reinforce or confirm in certain way that they are doing the things in certain way that they can improve.
Yeah, exactly. And also that they for example, if there's 5 people saying that they're enthusiastic, they cannot tell themselves anymore they are not enthusiastic, because they got 5 confirmations from the outside world.
Wow, this is a very good way to really bring this as a kind of a habit in your life, because it's a very good way to immerse yourself in other opinions, letting them take in the best part and probably taking the things that you can improve. So do you say that will be a methodology or something like that you have created?
The thing is that it's important to learn to fill the bucket of self-worth is that we dare to just ask appreciation without the topics that we need to improve on.
Okay, can you explain that a little bit more?
Why? Because lots of people directly listen to what is the but that is coming. You are very enthusiastic, but sometimes you are too much. So they do not listen to what the first part, they are listening to what's after the but.
Wow.
So they listen to the no instead of to the yes.
Yeah.
The yes is in the first part. So what I'm telling my clients is, when you ask for appreciation of other people, just be clear on what, for example, what do you like in our relationship? What do you like, for example, Maria, already in our little part of our podcast right now? What do you already like?
I like the experience that I live with each person that I bring, because it's their own world that I am sharing with them in a private environment.
Okay, great. What I like about you is one of the things that I already told you. You were really good in preparing everything. I was really impressed. I have never been a guest in a podcast which was so well prepared and so precise and accurate. So that's really a compliment. And next to that, I like it that you're smiling all the time since the first second that we were already starting. And your enthusiasm is also very appealing, you know?
Thank you very much.
We can already start, we just know each other for such a short time, and we can already appreciate one another.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that most of us do not dare to ask the appreciation. We most of the times go and ask, hey, what can we improve? What can I improve?
Yeah, that's true. But knowing our value is something that actually we need to work on, as you well said.
It's essential, because if we are entrepreneurs and we are not standing in our self-worth, we cannot go to self-confidence, to self-love. It's like a foundation.
Yeah, correct.
We cannot go to I'm okay when we do not see our own worth. But look at it from business point of view. If you do not trust yourself, if you do not love yourself, if you do not value yourself, how are you going to put yourself into the market as a brand? Doesn't matter if you do services or products. Also, if it's products, you have to be the leader, for example, of your team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And self-worth does not mean that you're arrogant. I'm not saying that at all. It's just that you believe in yourself and you inspire others to do the same thing, to be themselves, perfectly imperfect.
Yeah, and I want to do a question related with that, and it's actually the self-imposed limitations that we end up doing to ourselves. And this is something, as you will say, saying always the but. I'm good, but I'm still missing this. I'm good, but I don't have the tools to develop this or that. So these self-limitations is something that I'm talking with a coach, professional coach. And that's probably is going to become a coach session. I don't want that, of course. But how we can really remove this self-imposed limitation and be conscious every day that even when these kind of things are there, we can just remove it for a moment and give this value.
I wish it would work like that, but it doesn't work like that. That you can just say, I'm just going to push you away Like you do not exist, this limiting beliefs or limiting situation that just push you away. And then in a certain moment, you'll see that they come back in a moment that it's really not useful.
Yeah.
And then they knock you down. Or for example, when you push something away for a long time, you get sick.
Yeah. That probably...
It's not, that's something some people say, I just let it go, and then it would work. I wish it was like that. It's not the case. Because you have created many, many neurological links to that limiting belief.
Okay.
Yeah. So your brain has reconfirmed the your limbic brain. So it's like a pattern which is there. Which doesn't mean you cannot create new patterns. That's a good thing. But indeed, for example, sometimes people say, yeah, but affirmation don't really work. So for example, you believe I'm not good enough. Okay, let's now start saying I'm good enough. 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 Which is already very nice if you allow yourself to give yourself new empowering beliefs, I call them. But what is more important is what is the steer? So what's happened in the past that created that I'm not good enough? From who is it coming? From your mother, your father, your grandpa, your grandmother? And that's what we take out in our coaching sessions. We take out the steers.
Okay.
I don't need to know even where it started because it can already be in the womb of your mother.
Yeah.
It can be when you are a baby.
Yeah.
So a lot of these things are imprints in the body. It's not only in the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by changing something, a new body imprint, and to allow the old body imprint to be completed and to create a new body imprint, can allow yourself, many beautiful things can flow to you. We've seen so many things, like someone who is, for example, standing like that, and after the coaching session, he's like this for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So body and mind are connected. And so I do believe, and of course it's my job, but it's not because it's my job that I'm telling you that, that having a really good coach who can take out these tears is very important. Because that's the underlying level that you need to be healed on. And then you can give yourself this new, for example, empowering belief like I'm good enough, because it has soil to land on.
Yeah.
Because if the other soil is I'm not good enough, and you, for example, just give an example, you say to yourself this unconsciously, because you're not saying yourself always so consciously, unconsciously you're saying I'm not good enough 2,000 times a day. And then you say consciously 5 times a day, I'm good enough. Yeah. The soil is not very rich, to have this landed. If you take out the steers of where it happened, if, for example, your mother didn't recognize you, or your father didn't recognize you, or you were never good enough for one of your parents, we can heal it there. And then we have a more grounded soil for the new imprints, for the new empowering beliefs to land on.
Yeah. Well, this I wanted to connect it with something a little bit more personal, Els, and sorry to really go into that, because I know.
Totally okay. I told you, just go for it.
Yeah, that actually you have been mentioning all the research that I did about you, that you have been carrying a backpack and embracing this vulnerability, accepting your parents. And I think that many things that happen to many people, or to us in general, is that. So how has this journey that you have been living, about of self-acceptance and influence your coaching approach and use it is to empower others, how you could, tell us the story behind that and how this bring you to that point in your life?
It changed everything. It changed really everything. I get goosebumps everywhere on my body right now. It's tripled my business. But that was a nice side note, let's say. But it changed many, many things on the way I'm in life right now. So I left my house when I was 18 years old, and then I started doing everything by myself. I'm coming from an environment which is quite, you could say there's poverty, because not that there was not money, but my mother always, the money that she got, she always used it for alcohol. So everything got used for alcohol. So she got up in the morning, using alcohol during the rest of the day. And then she was, lots of times sick. And, so I left when I was 18 years old. My father died when I was 17 years old. I hadn't seen him the last 5 years of my life because he was in a mental institution. He had a psychic illness. So neither my mother nor my father could really be present in the here and now. You know, the one was choosing for alcohol and the other one was going in psychic illness. And, so it was kind of tough because there wasn't, any love or any light. There was a lot of darkness, in the way how I was grown up. I already decided when I was 12 years old that I was going to create another life for myself, because my mother was a lot of times on in these pubs, you know, for drinking and everything. And then my first boyfriends were people from that cafe, you know, from the pub. So it wasn't qualitative, and they were really not good guys. So when I was 18 years old, I decided to go and live separately, and I didn't see my mother for 18 years. So she was still alive, and I didn't see her for 18 years. In that time, from the moment I was 27 or something, I started getting into the coaching world and getting coached myself. And then later on, really, when you would just have said the word mother, I would have gone outside, take out a tree, and, you know, start knocking on everything when you would just say the word mother. So there was a lot of anger on the fact that she didn't take care of us in the right way. And the fact is that by having that, I was fighting against my family system, the place where I'm coming from. So when you fight against your mother and your father, or your grandpa and your grandfather, you're fighting against yourself, because that's where you come from. So I've started then a whole journey of many years of going into the acceptance of who they are, resulting in the last 6 years that my mother was back into my life. She was here when my daughter did her. I don't know how you say that in English. You know, this first communion is called, you know, in the church, and then when they're 6 years old, and she saw that, which she was very Catholic, and so she got to see that for the one of her grandchild, and the only one also. And when I could, when, for example, 3 years ago, she was ill and she got into the hospital again, and she was in a coma. And when she was in the coma, I was telling her that I loved her, and I was putting her favorite cream on her face, and she was not conscious, but I was telling the whole time that I loved her and that she had to come back so that we could have still some time to tell that to one another.
Now you make me cry.
Yeah. And then the moment she did come back, she had this tube in her mouth, and she said, "I love you." And she only said that once, but I'm so glad that I worked on myself, because I could allow these words to enter in my body, to create a new body imprint. Otherwise, I would have pushed them back. And she died last year in November. We could do it, but she died, and I was not feeling any guilt, Maria.
Yeah. You did the process.
I saw her still in September. We were sitting outside in the sun. We were dissociating together. So we were just in this kind of, she was closing her eyes. I was closing my eyes next to one another. And it's like a preparing on the death. Both dying. And then next time she was not there anymore. Yeah. So she's been communicating with me a lot more since she died than when she was alive, which is really great, because she's showing me many signs, also my children, many signs that everything is going well. But I mean, there's some people discussing with me that say, yeah, but I do not need to be well again with my mother or my father. Everyone can make that decision. I can just say you do not even have to have contact with your mother or your father, but the fact that you heal it already towards them, a lot of your own acceptance grow. So, for example, I have a older brother with whom I'm not in contact anymore, and also a younger sister I'm not in contact anymore. It's a decision that they made, but I sometimes think about them and I put them in a bubble of light and love.
Yeah.
And that's acceptance instead of fighting. I do not want to fight with anyone anymore.
Yeah.
So also when there is a client and he or she wants to fight, or a company that wants to fight, I just tell them, guys, I'm not going to play this game anymore,
Yeah.
I know power is one of the elements that drives people, but it's not worth my time.
Yeah, I have a question, because hearing your story and making really move all these fibers, because it's a very touching. See how you have been flourish after that, and how you have been keeping still your smile in your face, a nice energy, and wanted to help others. So I will give an attribution to the coaching, and how coaching have been really make you realize and connect with your roots and connect with the things that have been happening. So how did you decide that, or in which moment? Because one thing is decide, yes, I don't want this life anymore, I'm going to leave and start your life, but you have many options because you have one model to follow. So how did you arrive to this moment of realization?
It's after self-worth, the second point that I would like to give your listeners is that they need to know what they want.
Yeah.
A lot of people know what they don't want. They tell me, Els, I do not want that. I do not want that. What do you want?
Yeah,
what do you want on for yourself as a person? What do you want on your financials? What do you want for your business? What do you want in your personal relationship with your partner? How with your children? What concerning your friends? How concerning your family? How do you want things? To invite what you want, because if you give a lot of energy to what you do not want, you get more of what you don't want. So the first thing is clarify what you want. I clarified for myself, and I made it also very clear concerning my mother, for example. I was clear that I was going to revisit her. And I remember that we were in January and her brother died, and we were on the funeral. And the funeral of her former brother, she didn't even want to say hi to us. So this was already very special, because she was willing to say hi to us. My sister didn't want to say hi because she was very angry still at her. And I remember that my sister was saying, it would be her that needs to be in the ground and not our uncle. She was like that. And I was like, oh no, I don't feel that anymore at all. But I was very scared to talk to her already. I was too scared, also concerning loyalty with my sister. But then, she was the one that finally went first to visit my mother the month after. So what I believe is that through the work I did, I spent like 2 years full on working on acceptance of my mother and my father, that my sister, which is logical, she's older, that she took the first step. So when you do the cleaning up work, it has impact beyond yourself.
Yeah.
It has impact on your whole family system. I am convinced that my mother got healed because I was doing the work for the family system.
Yeah.
How come that 2 years later she did want to talk to us, and 2 years before not?
Yeah.
So I believe in magic. I believe that we can heal in a very I love to connect with the spirits, and I'm also very down to earth. I can do both, but that we allow to get also, through this very deep coaching that I went in myself, but also with all the education that I did, to allow myself to get healed on the deepest level all the time, which makes me more pure, makes me more present for my clients, makes me also more clear, and also my clients to clarify, what do I want? What is my soul mission? To allow that other people, because that's also a very important point, allow that other people may help us.
Yeah.
So, for example, when you are building your company, you need to have a mentor, which is already 3 steps or 2 steps before you. Yeah. Instead of needing to learn everything from scratch and, I don't know, taking 5 times more the time than it's needed.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's really something that I noticed that women have more difficulties than men with.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We sometimes don't know how to manage that. We probably don't, or have some troubles asking for help and asking for, if you have been succeed already, why you don't let me know how you arrived to that point, why you don't share with me? And sharing is caring in some way.
Exactly.
So for me, I always go and ask, and this is a part of the things that have making me grow. And I'm curious about, for example, with your clients, or the experience that you have been living, because I'm sure that you have been seeing them doing the transformation that coaching process do. Do you have any particular one of them that you wanted to share with us? Because I'm so curious right now.
Oh, there's many, but there's one popping up right now, which was here last week, and I have a little forest of myself. So we work a lot in the forest, which has a really good energy. And there was one, how do you say that? A klaprose, which is like a rose, but it's like this one where the leaves go off very fast.
Yes, yes, I know, but I don't know the name.
Yeah. And there was one pink one between all the red ones.
Yes.
And I said to my daughter, it's very amazing that there is a pink one between red ones. And then my client was there, and she got attracted by this pink flower. Yeah. So we went to talk with the pink flower. And before we went into constellation work, and and the moment that she got connected with that flower, the flower started letting the leaves, yes. It's called leaves go off the flower, and they got on her body.
Okay, beautiful.
So they flew on her body, and I had to ask her, what does the flower want to tell you? I need to let go.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And then I was working with her constellation of her family system, saying one, let's say a mother, a grandmother, and so on. So different generations. I think there were 5 generations which were there, which are represented by people of the group. And without her hearing, a certain moment in the process, 2 of her grandparents said she has to let go.
Yeah.
She can leave it here with us.
Yeah.
And she didn't hear that. And I said, did you hear it? What generations before you are saying? You have to let go. And then, like the same message as the flower. And at a certain moment, she went to stand on this wooden piece of wood. And she could see all over her the generations. And there were all the generations confirming her on the positive parts. And she was crying, and she was allowing to get this appreciation all over these different generations instead of fighting.
Yeah, correct.
And so she could allow a softer part of herself to be born.
Yeah, that reminds me, yesterday, now I'm doing the coach certification process.
Okay.
So part of the things that I learned yesterday is there's 5 different ways to listen. Because listening is not just pay attention to what the person is saying. Listening is many other things that is happening around the person when you are speaking, things that they are doing, as you well said, the things that happen with the leaf, the things that probably she was doing in that moment, are the things that we are doing when we are speaking. Sometimes we are doing, oh no, these kind of things, is like putting our hands in the face or touching parts of our body, that really are another way for you as a coach to listening to what this person wants to say.
Yeah.
So now that I am just starting to be certified, but you are the expert on that. And I will love for you, based on this experience, what have you been listening from her in that moment?
Well, it was clear we were not even listening to her. We were listening to the flower.
Beautiful. Yes.
The flower was giving us the messages, and it's very exceptional. That's why I'm saying there's a lot of magic if you allow it, because that flower goes away very fast, and it was already there 3 days waiting for her.
Yeah.
And the moment that she goes and stands, because we were there already the whole morning, so it only started at 2:00 in the afternoon, so the flower did not go away till the moment she was standing next to her, and the leaves went on her body. So it's really magical.
Yeah, that's true.
And but you are right. I mean, for a very important level on how to listen to your clients, because I have a coach academy. I coach lots of people. A lot of people get certified by us. Is that in one of the elements is that most important is to listen to what the body is saying before it speaks.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for example, reminds me of a client which came in the coaching session for the first time, and she was doing like this.
Yes.
And she had a scarf, and there was a scarf in between, and she was like touching the scarf. And we just went into that, just saying, okay, so if we just take a moment, most of the times when you tell people this, then they stop it because they're, oh my God, she observed it, and they are not conscious that they're making certain movements.
Yeah.
So we went and said, okay, let's go back. You don't have to look at me. Just check. And then we could go into that movement. We could go into the memory that it was her grandmother who always made her scarves. And she could make the connection with grandmother. She started crying. She felt that connection. She felt very at ease, very safe. And then we had already a first tool to use in her life. So when she had important meetings that she found a bit scary, she just got a scarf, she put it on her lap, and she was just touching the scarf.
It's like an anchor point.
For example. So, but not only that, she can just, if she does this or on a scarf, she can go directly into the safety, in the safe connection with grandmother, and be herself more and allow her, for example, her opinion to be said. So a lot can be done when we listen to the body indeed.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And more than, for example, when you ask a question and someone, they say, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, exactly. The body language is very clear. They are moving their head and saying no.
They say, it's a good idea. Yeah, good idea.
Looking down. Yeah, I know. I have been there many times. Yeah, that is true. Well, and as a part of the things that actually you are doing sometimes, with the conscience that you are doing, what will be these 3 actionable recommendations you will give to these aspiring women that wanted to be this entrepreneur and actually make a difference in the industry?
Well, I've put on, I think, that was one of the last questions, but first I put in, get yourself a good coach and a good mentor. The second is to get a good support around you. I believe that's really an important one, that we as women, as I said, we didn't finalize that earlier. But remember, when there was all these women in the 60s or 70s, I don't remember, going for the rights of women. They were not standing there alone.
Correct.
They were standing there with lots of women. And I don't know how somewhere we got this click into our head that we have to do everything by ourselves, or otherwise we are weak. And that we have to be able to combine all these roles, and that we have to be successful in every role, and that we have to be perfect. And it's really, really damaging our results, for sure, when you are an entrepreneur. When you allow others to help you, or you have other people around you that lift you up, you will get faster results, for sure.
Yeah, correct.
So, for example, my husband, he reminded me of it. He says, "Els, you're always giving the example that I finance your first coaching, the second coaching course, but you never bring the example." So thank him for reminding me 2 weeks ago that you supported me during many years in the beginning. You were the one who was keeping the household alive and kicking. I was investing everything in the company.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, it's true. I mean, we have to be able to help each other and not say, you have to, you have, I don't know, everything goes to you or to the other. Like I remember a woman which wanted to go into our program a couple of weeks ago, and she has the money together with her husband. And he says, yeah, but we made the decision that I was going to look for the children and he was going to go for his job. I said, yeah, great. You can always decide that. It's perfect. I mean, and then she said, yeah, so now I have to earn the money first before I'm allowed to put it into this course. I'm like, what? No. No. Because she's not going to start up a company very fast if she's not having a very good confidence. And if you are not allowing, for example, your husband to support you in then developing that company because you think you have to do it all by yourself again, it will take ages.
Agree. That was part of the things that I mentioned in my last episode, that I did it actually with my partner, with Philippe. And I was very, very grateful with him actually in public, saying to him, thank you for your support, because that have been really empowering me more.
Exactly.
Having him as a support, that doesn't mean that I cannot, we can do many things alone, and we are we can provide many things, but actually having that support for me personally is very important and disempowering me. So yeah. I wanted to spread this message too, because as you will mention and said, your husband have been a very important part. He have been supporting you, you have been supporting him, and having this balance is part of the things that really make us the power that we need.
Yeah, exactly. And that it's not only your husband, it's also really looking around you. Who are you allowing
Correct
to get around you?
Correct.
I've had really, I really made a scanning and say, okay, with who am I spending time? With who am I not spending time? Allowing also new people to come into my life. Making a focus of these people, but also, for example, I've changed my whole team, of my whole coach team, and it's so great because everyone is so grateful. We are all like connected. We all carry each other. We would never ever gossip of one another.
Yeah.
So we are really having each other's back, and it's such a great feeling. And when I'm, for example, having a breakdown around something, I can contact them. They can contact me. I have also friends which are entrepreneurs with whom I can, and then they can just push me back into the arena.
Yeah, it's the way, surrounded yourself with the right people.
Yeah, and then go broader. I'm surrounded by really good coaches that can coach me through my own teams.
Yeah.
And I have, for example, friends which are also very good coaches. We can coach each other.
Yeah.
But I also have really good masters around me who help me out. So it's not that sometimes people look at me and they say, you're very self-confident, etc. I'm not an enlightened person which has everything already in order. I mean, I have also in one area of my life still a challenge, and it's okay. And sometimes and that's another thing I would really advise them. Sometimes you need to allow something to be killed.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
To get something new to live. Some people are living in this golden cave, like in the logo, and are not allowing themselves to get out. For example, people who want to become a coach, and they are a consultant and they get very good day fees and they do not dare to, because, but they feel they want to go into the coaching world. Some people already done, for example, 2 courses in the Coach Academy.
Yeah.
And then, I want to do this, I want to do it. But then the golden cave is still there.
Yeah.
So that means that we also need to allow ourselves to break out and allow something to get killed that we leave behind.
Yeah. You see how the universe brings us to one of the topic of our podcast, that is branding. You now are talking about your logo and I love it. So why your logo have this cage? I wanted to know now.
Exactly this, because a lot of people keep themselves in this golden cave and they think it's comfort zone.
Yeah.
But for example, they don't allow themselves to break out and then to become that greater person of themselves. And for sure, when they are entrepreneurs, I have coaches talking to me and they're telling me that they have between 0 and 30,000 euros as a revenue a year. Yeah. Sorry, but guys, you cannot be serious then, because you cannot live from that. So you have to do something. And a golden cave is not only, for example, as I said, a consultant that is earning 200,000 euros a year and is a bit scared about that, to leave that behind and to, is it going to be better? Is it going to be more? Am I still going to have 200,000 euros revenues or more when I'm doing the coaching world? And that's one of the reasons why you need to be able to first be in your self-worth.
Yeah.
Because I saw like a good coach and she was doing a LinkedIn post 2 weeks ago. And I said, I really have to talk with this beautiful lady, because she was telling out loud that she was doing 55 euros for a session. But really, then you're not taking yourself seriously, because you only get like 30 euros still left after taxes and everything. So you first need to get into your own self-worth so that you dare to ask prices that are worth what you are worth. So for example, if people want to do a session with me, it's 1,000 euros for an hour.
Yeah,
and it wasn't like that, Maria, in the beginning. I've done 235,000 euros of courses all over the world. So my backpack of knowledge and capability is very big. I'm getting more done now in 2 sessions than I was before in 10 sessions. So in that case, I became cheaper, let's say.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing. You have to be able to get into self-worth. And the second is, if you want to grow really and have a good business, you have to allow also others to come in. Because imagine, for example, in my industry, if you look at one-on-one coaching, it has certain moments, a certain limit, because you can only work a couple of hours a day.
Yeah, correct.
So you need to think differently. You need to think into, for example, groups, or have other coaches working also together with you. So for that, we need, again, the self-worth, and we need also good financial managers, not only people who are good in spending money or keeping the money, but also are good in receiving money, excellent money receivers.
Yeah, the thing is, you have been spending a lot of time dedicating to grow yourself, to learn yourself, to really help people around, and all those hours that you have been already bring into your life to make you that master, that expert, that have a value. And this, you can coach someone in 1 minute because your experience. So that's have a value. And this is probably what we already nowadays cannot differentiate, because the average price in the market is X time per hour. Well, but hang on a minute. People are not delivering the same value.
The minimum price is 270 euros.
Yeah.
So what are you doing with 55 euros? It's
it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's the market.
Also destroying the market. But there was something I wanted to add because you said something interesting. Yes, when we look in, for example, in business life, and you are an employee, we found it very normal that after, for example, 2 years, we get a promotion, that we get certain education, and that we get also more money when we are growing in our responsibilities. So that's a strange thing. So in the companies, we think it's normal, but when you gain more seniority, you get also paid more. But when we are when we are entrepreneurs, we also need to go and stand into that. I said to people, when you invest 20,000 euros in the Coach Academy because you're doing these 4 courses, you have to also ask another price because your skill set is going to Premier League, like Premier League football. So they also do not. They also get paid another salary.
Yeah, correct. And it's not just about a price; it's about the value, that is delivering.
So that's a very important part you're saying, Maria, because, for example, you have to really earn your rights.
Yeah, correct.
So I had a person, she told me, yes, I just invested 10,000 euros. And I know also that that person, and she had 10 sessions of 1 hour with that person. And she said it was nice during that 10 weeks. But now I'm like, because nothing changed. And I said, what did you do in these 10 hours then? She said, she gave me lots of books that I had to read. And in that hour, she gave me a pep talk, and she just did it by telephone. And she told me that it's better to not be distracted by the nonverbal. And I was like, oh my God, like a lot of the things are coming from nonverbal communication.
Correct.
So she spent 10,000 euros, had 10 nice weeks, and now she's not one step further.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying to everyone just increase your prices. No, you have to earn your rights.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Because actually part of the things I'm connecting and trying to wrap it up a little bit, because we have been speaking almost for 50 minutes, right? That is amazing. But I think that one of the things that you said at the beginning is this knowing how much you value. Giving you this self-worth is very important, and then knowing how to spread the voice in the way that the people will understand the value that you give to them. Yeah. So really, I think that all the things that you have been just delivered have a lot of value for me. And I know that for our communities, your community and my community as well. So just to wrap up, and my last question is related with your personal side, and is what kind of rituals you normally are doing to keep this focus and this nice energy that you are having right now?
Well, I was reflecting. I said, I like it. Like I did this morning, just sometimes 1 to 3 hours. I'm just laying in my bed and just meditating.
Yeah.
And I have all this, and I feel certain things in my body, or I have certain visions, or some things happen. So I love that a lot. That regulates me enormously. So I think everyone needs to find what is helping him or her to regulate him or herself, because that's an important one. First, for me, for example, I like it that is my parasympathetic nervous system that can just calm down. But I also like it on the other side to go sports. So as I'm a beginning triathlete, to be clear.
But being a beginning is already something very big. So.
Yeah, so we train like 9 hours a week. So my sports is also really a way how to regulate myself. So it's also important for your listeners to understand that it's not only your parasympathetic nervous system saying or meditating or yoga or whatever, but it's also your sympathetic nervous system. What helps you to activate yourself, and that you also can feel like things are getting out of your system. So that's also important. So sometimes people think, you always have to rest. No, can be also walking in the forest, or I love it when I just go and walk in the forest, just look at the bumblebees and the flowers, or just something that regulates me also a lot. I can just look into water and just looking at the changes of the water,
the waves,
and just sit there and just.
Fantastic.
So these are kind of my things. I also have a beautiful journal that I sometimes use to write things in. I'm not always very consequent to do it every day, but sometimes I feel I want to write something down. I have also 20 of these beautiful sets that I like. You have this probably also, like this kind of cards that you can use with all positive things. Yes. And I like it sometimes just to take a card and just say, okay, what's
beautiful.
But what it's important when I'm lying there, for example, in the morning, I concentrate on what I want to invite.
Okay. Wow. That is beautiful.
Before going to sleep, invite what you want. Not what you
Okay.
don't want. We already discussed that.
Yeah.
So you invite what you want. What do you invite? Because your dream world is also a really good world to digest everything that happened during the day, but also in your personal development.
Well, Els, yeah, thank you very much for sharing all these things with us. I wanted you to share with us where the people can contact you, because you have a lot of value to continue giving, helping many people. So where people can find you?
Well, it's very easy. You can just contact us. I will write a little text to put on the podcast. It's just hello@elsvanlaecke.com. They can
Okay.
just write a mail. You'll see on our website that it's now it's in Dutch, but it's we can perfectly coach also in English, as you can hear. And in our podcast, which I will also put, the Breakthrough podcast, there's several episodes in English. So for people
Fantastic.
who want to listen, yeah, they can listen to that. I also, the people, if they contact me on the hello@elsvanlaecke.com, I can send them also some free gifts in English, where we have like videos and everything in English. So yeah, if they want to, we can give that to them.
I will put all those things in the text and into the podcast.
Yeah,
and Els, thank you very much for being here with us, sharing your experiences and all those stories. Fantastic, that will making grow the community of the Brilliantly Branded podcast. Thank you very much for being
thank
here.
you.
Thank you.